And so thank you, I want to say thank you to Ethan for spearheading this CU Chapter. And then also a big thank you to Amy Watt, because she's really fostered this collaboration on the BAMTA end. So you can see there's just a little program here, and there's some bios of the presiders, the students who are going to be presiding on the back, if you want to read a little bit about them. And we're going to go ahead and start with Grace. Grace is a 7th grader at Altona Middle School, where she does choir and she does show choir. In addition to playing the piano, she also loves to read. Chirapa Wong Kaom is going to be working with Grace today, and Grace is a student of mine. And we'll go ahead and start.
Yeah, I love that. Like sailboat, and you said about the wave, right? And then crash, and sometimes calm. So we love that. It's like impressionist. This is like wonderful composer. I just tried to search last night, and she's like the way she writes is like effective. I love impressionist. I love Debussy. I love Ravel. And the way I think of like impressionist style is like you have the picture, you have the story behind it, and the sound of the piano. With this piano can make a lot of different sound. So we're gonna try to explore that more. So in the beginning, you got it memorized. Like that's really impressive. Okay, so it starts with composer usually guide us really well with the notation and that thing. So what do we have here in the beginning with the right hand?
Well, the right hand starts with pianissimo.
Yes, and how about left hand?
That's a little bit.
Okay. Yes. And then with the register, let's try to play only the right hand. Okay, and now can I hear left hand only? Okay, does that two registers sound different from each other? Okay, and now we try to put two hands with the pedal and listen to left hand lower sound. How can we make it different than the higher voice on the right hand? Ooh, I love that. And then when we think about the wind, is that right hand or left hand with the wind?
Right hand.
Yeah, can we make some wave on the right hand but still keep everything soft? Mozart? exactly. Okay, let's imagine that this pianissimo and take this one for fortissimo. Try that. Yeah, I like that more. Okay, and now can you play one more time? Just the first page, and I want to hear the right hand like the wind. I like that. Do you like that? Okay, so now with the right hand, just explore a little bit. So it's 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. If the wind can be more relaxed with the breeze. And sit tall. Maybe one more time, sit tall. Good. Okay. One last thing. Can we try to sing the left hand together? Okay. Let's sing it out loud. We can also play it. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay. Can we make some shape on the left hand? How can we want to shape this one? If we sing one more time. Go. And then that's the ending of the first phrase, right? Maybe, how can we do this one differently? You want to crescendo to the end, or you want to crescendo in between and stop at the end?
Maybe crescendo
Between, okay, and then we stop at the end, like this time, okay. Listen to the shape on the left hand. Can we do speed up and then listen to the pedal also? Make sure we change the pedal when the left hand change. So with that, you can explore that when we go back to like kind of this one. Even inside the slur, the long phrase is good, but if we have some small, tiny phrase inside, it will sound wonderful. Okay, so let's go to a different section. Now the wind go to the left hand, right? Can we start somewhere maybe here? Left hand is the wind, right? Think about it. With this one, you're not gonna use pedal at all, right?
No.
Okay, no pedal at all. So now it's like everyone love when having pedal, even me. It's like we can blur things, we can hide things. So now it's so exposed without the pedal. So can I hear left hand only? Here's the thing. It starts piano, diminuendo at the beginning, but we start with the thumb. Imagine 5 finger, which finger is the most strongest? The thumb, right? So we have to be really careful here. So. Okay, I'm gonna do something interesting here. Let's see. Do you like number?
Yeah.
Okay, so number 1 is the less level. And 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna go to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, can we say that first? Ready and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can we try that and found this softest? Okay, I can hear the difference now. So now we crescendo to where is the peak here? I like that. A little bit faster. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and now feel really one long line with the right hand also. But now really be careful this level 1. Okay, good. And then that one crescendo, right? Right hand is easier than left hand, I believe. Okay, we're gonna keep going for the sake of time. Can I hear just the from here to the ending? Nice. Okay, you talked in the beginning, you said that the wind sometimes sailboat crash.
Yeah.
Is the crashing part here?
So,
Which part?
on the roll chords.
Yes, I agree. So a tempo crescendo and then that's the crash. Can we be more like the wind like boom at the end here? Like even more. So start soft one more time. So now, can you use the whole arm to play that note? That's a little bit too much, but let's try that first. Use the whole arm. Okay, a little bit higher and boom down. There you go. This heavy arm, okay, and then you go down. D, one more time. Okay, and can I hear that chord? And then that's a lot of boom at the end. So from there. Okay, and now let's try to match those two sounds a little bit. I love that voice, but can we go with that a little bit louder? And then keep going. Okay, very nice. If I play this roll chord. How can we roll this sound different if I play my pinky loudest with do you like that tone? Or you like this one better if I voicing the top note more? This one better? The first one, so can we try that? Maybe give some time to listen to D note. And then nice. Okay. I love that now, voicing. Let's start from here. Yeah, really nice. Okay. When we go crescendo to the end, this is one last point. So when we go down to D note, try to crescendo literally on pinky.
Thank you, Grace. Okay, so next we have Silas here. And Silas is also in 7th grade and is homeschooled, studies with Amy Watt, and in addition to piano, enjoys French horn, robotics, and composing. And John Austin King is going to work with Silas.
excited. These are some of my favorite pieces, so I'm really excited to work with you today on these. Very nice playing. You have a very warm sound, very enjoyable to listen to. And these, there are a lot of things I think in piano that sound a lot easier sometimes than they are, and this is one of them. It sounds very calm and tranquil, but there's a lot of hidden difficulties that I think you managed well, so good job. I want to ask what you like about this piece.
I like how it is relaxed in some parts, but then it's like really dramatic in other parts.
Very dramatic, yeah. What are some of the primary difficulties in this piece?
This part with the it's sort of chromatic, but not really.
This right here,
Yes.
like this trill and then this walking down business. Okay. Anything else? If you don't have anything, it's okay.
There were definitely difficulties, but I feel like they're not that difficult now because I've gotten used to them.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then the last question, I want to ask, what did you like about how you play this, and maybe what's something that you wish you had done differently, if there's anything?
I think I really liked this trill that I did.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was probably the best trill I've ever done, actually.
That's awesome. I really liked these drills as well, the last two.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Anything you wish you'd done differently, or changed, or maybe not?
I started pretty loud. When I went back to the repeat, I started louder than I intended to.
Okay.
And I usually, I'm trying to start quieter in the second repeat more.
Sure. I see that this is good. I see that you've kind of decided exactly what you want to do the second time through. It's always great to have a plan. Nice. I agree with those things. So, do you know anything about the history of these pieces or about Mendelssohn? If you don't, it's okay. You don't have to know everything.
I don't know a ton about Mendelssohn.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know that this is Venetian, so it's in Venice.
Yeah, totally. Well, let's talk about it. So Mendelssohn was an interesting composer. He kind of had a cushy life. He came from a fair amount of money, so he was able to travel a lot, and he was inspired a lot by the nature scenes that he saw in Scotland and by the things he saw in Italy as well. So he wrote he wrote a lot of letters, and he wrote to his family specifically about Venice. And also, Mendelssohn was something of a prodigy in a lot of different ways. He was what we might call a polymath, and he was also an extremely skilled artist and painter. He made beautiful watercolors and sketches. And from a lot of Mendelssohn's music, we know that he was particularly fascinated with portraying light and distance in music. So if you ever have a chance to listen to the Hebrides Overture, Hebrides, Hebrides, that depicts, he actually got the idea for that piece as he was sailing up to Fingal's Cave, which is this huge rock formation in Scotland. And you can actually hear in the orchestra, it's almost like a tone poem, we would call it. You can hear the rocks, this huge formation approaching in his eye. So I think he's playing with distance here. This is so interesting, what he does this first. Would you say the melody starts here or here?
Probably here.
Probably here. So he's saying it starts at... I agree. I think this is kind of like the boat's rocking a little bit, right? So the gondola is maybe sailing up to the gondola station in these first bars, right? And then the gondolier starts singing. Have you ever heard someone sing
Yes.
the gondolier song? They're pretty dramatic, right? Some of them at least.
Not a gondolier song, but
You don't think so?
well, I've heard someone sing that. Did you say gondolier song?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm using I may be using the total wrong word. But yeah. So let's kind of walk through it. Let's see, I took some notes here. I think what I really want to play with is the sense of light and distance that we were talking about. So can we do the opening phrase? Let's go until somewhere about here. Yes. relax. The boat's not it's not a speedboat, right? It's just relaxed. We're kind of floating through the water. Can you make maybe a bigger deal out of this? Maybe if you even just took your hand and showed us that you're placing the note. This is so important, I think. And then take just a second before you start. Can you really draw us in there? Can you try from here to there? Sorry, from the beginning to just this first little statement. Good. Now, I would have liked a little more, I call those hairpin crescendos here. He writes something, it's hard to do because it's over the space of 3 notes, but he writes. Can you get up to this A natural a little? Maybe start here. Try just your right hand here. Da-da-dum. Yeah. I think finding those little shapes are what is going to really make this piece speak more. It's the little things with Mendelssohn, I think. Same thing, it happens again here. And it's hard because you're managing a lot with the left hand, right? These are big jumps. And to your credit, you're doing that really, really well. Cool. The next thing, can we, I think you're doing in this B section here, this is a huge moment. He not only tells us fortissimo with an accent, but then sforzando, and then it dies away a little. Can this be more of a moment, as they say? And can we have more levels here? So here's level 1, here's level 2, and here's level 3. And then maybe let it wind down for just a second there with timing lines. Does that make sense? Cool. Let's try somewhere here. Urgency almost. You'll have to excuse my left hand. And I like that you took your time to get here, but maybe in the beginning we let it move a little so that we can really take our time here. Could you try that? Do you ever sing or speak while you play? Sometimes? I think you should do that a lot with this piece. I won't ask you to do it here. I think that's cruel and unusual. But I think if you don't even have to sing the notes. It's what they call in German Sprechstimme. That way you can feel inside of you where you're going. because the piano is kind of an ugly instrument, I think. We have to make it beautiful in other ways. The voice is, I really do think that. The voice is, but I also love it, it's my favorite thing in the world. I think the voice is naturally beautiful in a lot of ways. You know, it's so personal. So we have to imitate other instruments. So I think that'll help a lot. I love that you pointed out your trill. I wanted to talk about those. This one was great. I loved the way you started slow and creeped in, and this crescendo there was great. I wonder if these could have a little more pain. I just wrote pain over top of them because it's kind of a strange place to have an E sharp, right? We're living in this. That's so strange. Can you? It's like it's crying out a little bit. Can you make it maybe light pain and then severe pain? Second time. Too soon. Again, think about your levels. Save most of it for here, I think. It's interesting. I don't know if these are his markings exactly to put diminuendo and then a crescendo. I think that's interesting. So definitely keep this one nice and strong. Maybe 20% less, and then like 50% less there. Can you try? Maybe from our severe pain trill. On the C sharp. Da, da, da. Can we do a little more of that C sharp? Maybe take some time. I think this is kind of the final. It's like, oh, this is interesting. So are you, I see a crescendo. Are you doing that instead of the diminuendo that they have there? Because I agree.
I haven't really been playing what I marked in there.
Right.
But
It's interesting that he puts sforzando, diminuendo, then another sforzando. Maybe what he's asking us to do is to really lay into this trill, kind of let it die for a second, and then da da da, right there on that sforzando. Really let us have it. One last cry into the river canal. Just a little more dramatic. Sorry, I'm just gonna. I think this kind of thing happens live. I think maybe if you take just a hair more time at the end. Yeah, kind of work on that. But I really like that declaration. Yeah, I think this last should be just a whisper. This chord here. Very nice. Can you try one more time? I think we're on a roll here. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. I like that you gave a little extra because you have to hold this C sharp here longer. That was very, very nice. I think you have a good musical intuition. Okay. Thank you. It was really nice to hear this.
Wonderful, thank you.
And then
Oh, wow, that's some good markings.
Hazel will play for us next. Hazel is school. And she also studies with Mozart. And in addition to piano, she plays the trombone and also enjoys robotics and drawing. And she's
Kyle, nice to meet you.
She said no.
I play with my jacket on sometimes too. It gets really cold in Boulder, doesn't it?
Should I just start?
That's all right. Would you like to look at the score real quick?
No, it's fine. Can I just skip that?
Start at the B section.
Sure. That works.
So, tell me, how long have you been playing the piano for?
I don't know.
Okay. How old are you right now?
12?
12 years old. Okay, so what grade did that make you in?
7.
7th grade. Wow, it's very impressive work for a 7th grader. And I love the way that you are really deep into the score, and I can tell that you really thought about a lot of these details. I have a few ideas that I'd like to share with you from the beginning. So, the first idea I want to touch on actually has nothing to do with your hands. One thing I noticed at the beginning, I think we can do something with our pedal to make these first 2 notes stand out a little more. I really like what you're doing with this accent coming back. You're doing the right musical thing. Loud, soft. But I think our pedal is actually taking away from some of the beautiful playing that you're doing. So can you play that opening for me real quick? Yes, as you've been playing it. Yeah, that's already better. You changed it. It sounded like you were a little too deep. So on that one, you can bring your knee up at a slower speed and release the pedal. Can I demonstrate that real quick? It's actually kind of tricky. Watch my pedal first. See how that gives the sound a little more into it? Otherwise, it kind of sounds like... That's great, but then I'm kind of losing this. And the other thing I could use is more tops in general. I kind of... Can I hear this instead? Try that for me. Keep going. Yeah, so this rhythm right here in measure 3. This is the classic Polonaise rhythm. So do you know what a Polonaise is? Are you familiar with that at all? Have you heard this term before? So a Polonaise is a Polish dance in 3. And this is the quintessential rhythm of it right here. And so Chopin is doing the right thing and he's giving us this. Chopin was a Polish national and he's pretty much the king of the Polonaise. This is where we get the term, in English, we would call this a polka, essentially. In Italian, I believe it's called Alla. And we kind of get our word more from the Latin root of this word as opposed to the German root Polonaise. But this is a polka. And so it kind of has this dance-like rhythm to it. One thing that I noticed was it sounded like some of your beats in a few spots were a little, I wasn't sure where this crescendo and decrescendo in the first line is going. Where do you think it goes? Because we kind of have a weird marking here. It looks like it goes to the end of this beat, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let's try it both ways. So can you play it in this? I want you to try it the first way. See if you can make your crescendo land right here. So this is your louder note, and then this is quiet. And then the second time, I want you to try playing the downbeat as if that's the top of the crescendo. Does that make sense? So here I can demonstrate. So the first time we'll do it. And the second time we'll try like this. Which one do you like more? First or the second one? Try both. Try both. See what you think. Yeah, pretty good. So here's another thing that I think. You're doing a great job. Again, we have all these pedal markings in this version. I kind of disagree with some of them. I think that this needs to have a little bit more of a portato touch. Have you heard that word before? Portato? At all? So portato is a kind of touch that we use in piano that's in between legato and staccato. So legato is very smooth and connected like ice cream. And then staccato is poppy like popcorn. Portato is a little more like a potato. You know. You got a little bit of, food in there. There's some nutrients, but, it's not quite as rich as ice cream. So can you bring a little more portato to your touch? And that can be accomplished by using less deep in the pedal. Try, instead of putting your foot all the way down the pedal, feel it about halfway in the keys. Chopin's piano was a lot less resonant than even this baby grand we're playing on today. And so his piano would have sounded much drier when he played this. Try that for me. Good, that's nice. Let's go on. So why don't you start, is this a good place to start, or would you rather just go from the beginning? Perfect, thank you. Yeah, so I think we can have, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off already, that was very beautiful. I think this can have a little more special. Can you start playing from here as if this was the beginning and ignore this arpeggio? And can I just hear you play basically da 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 da. Yeah, can I have a little more? So we're going to do the same thing. Can you take your arm? I don't know if you were saw Chirapa's teaching, but she had that student do the big arm drop. We need a lot of weight on that first note to make it out. Yeah, now that might be a little much. Try and see if you can get that same weight drop though. There you go. And let your wrist float up. You've got a balloon tied to your wrist at the end of the note, right? There you go. Play that for me on its own. Lovely. That's the kind of sound we're looking for. And then everything is underneath that afterwards. Can you play that line for me? You can do left-hand or not. Nice. And now your left hand has to match too. So you have to go. Can you make the left hand a little underneath that? If that means you have to make the right hand louder, that's okay. Lovely. Let's keep going. Oh, we kind of let go of that one a little early. We have a slur here and there's a break, right? But we still have to give this note a little bit of extra time. So can I give you a suggestion on how to practice this? Do you mind if I sit down on the bench for a second? So I want to show you, whenever I have a big jump, I like to do something that's called prepare and play. And so the way that works is I play right up until the jump. I make that note beautiful, and then I jump my hand as fast as I can, and I prepare, but I don't play it. So you have to go from a D all the way up past an octave to an E flat. That could be a bit of an uncomfortable stretch. I think you have a big enough hand to reach it, but we still don't want to stretch. We still want to move our whole arm behind it. So can you just practice playing this D for me, and then I want you to jump like this, and bring your entire arm with you, and bring your pinky over that E flat, but don't play it for me. So prepare it before you play it. Does that make sense? Try just those first two notes at first. Yeah, so just these ones. Just do that. Good. I think you can prepare a little faster than that. So you have to play it. Take your time before you leave. But the second you move your arm, bam, you're right there. Good. Now, okay. So now let's put that into practice. Try maybe from starting here. Is that a comfortable spot for you? And see if that helps. And really think about, bam, my hand's got to be there as fast as I can after that. Better. Let's keep going. We're running quick on time. That's a pretty hard one. Why don't you just play the right hand on, like, right here? Yeah, so this is one thing I noticed that I think is really important. At the ends of these phrases, we have to connect. And I noticed that sometimes your slurs break on the second to last note. So can I demonstrate one more time kind of how I think this line would sound? So we get that sound by two things. We have to keep the connection. But honestly, more important than the connection is the way we use our arms. So you have to think of dropping your weight on the first one, and then almost nothing. Feeling the balloon. I call it the wrist balloon. And imagine I've got a little balloon tied to your wrist. How slow would that rise if you had one balloon? How would it be different if you had two balloons? And you can use that to get different effects. And your upwards weight is just as important as your downwards weight when you're playing the piano. So try this. Let's go from the last line of this first section. And I want to go on. You might jump to the trio even. And see if you can connect all of these with your hands and really feel down right there. And you can use time to give you that as well. piano. I think that's a pretty decent piano. When I heard you perform it, I didn't hear much of a contrast between the piano and the forte. So I'd like you to actually try starting this closer to mezzo piano. And then when we have a crescendo here, what does crescendo mean? I actually disagree with you. I think a crescendo means to start quietly. So I think you should start this more mezzo piano and actually come back a little bit when you start, and that'll bring out your contrast from the growth. Can I demonstrate that part as well? So it makes a little sense. So. See how that kind of music. Forgive my left hand as well, but does that make sense? Yeah, so I think you can actually, when you see a crescendo or a decrescendo, don't think, oh, I've got to get louder. Think, how do I start that? That usually is the beginning of the phrase. That's one of the most important parts. Try that section for me. Now keep going. That's okay. That's okay. So when you're having some issues with that, take it and break it down one hand at a time. And go into your practice and do these kind of ideas one at a time and really focus on bringing out this melody because you're a very beautiful player, Hazel. If I had to give one, I guess, critique, I would say that in a lot of these things, the left hand is sticking out a little bit over the right hand. And I have the same thing. The left hand is, are you a right-handed person, naturally? Yeah, most people are. And so that means we have to do about 10 to 20% more work to get our left hand to musically match what we want to do with the right hand. So make sure that you're thinking about these dynamics and how they shape your phrase, but then also how they phrase your... You can still have dynamics in your right hand. And now the other thing I was going to mention, I realized in this section, when you have this piano here, you have to really be quiet, and I would suggest low use of pedal right here, because I didn't hear much contrast between here and here, and Chopin's kind of doing you dirty because this is in the bass, right? And the low range is naturally louder than the top range. Why don't you play this section one more time, and then we're probably going to have to wrap things up. Are we out of time already? 1 minute. Okay, perfect. Spot where make sure that you take a little bit of time and match your tone to that. Have you heard about sound matching before? That's the last thing that I'll mention to you before we finish up today. Sound matching is something we have to do in piano because this is a percussion instrument. And unlike a voice, when you sing a note, you can get loud. You can crescendo naturally. Piano, once we play it, it's gone. D. So we have to listen to the end. Listen to the decay of the sound. And match the next note to the end of that note as opposed to the beginning. So sometimes I feel like you're matching to the beginning of every note. So when you have ends of phrases, make sure you match to the end, okay? And round those off a little more, if that makes sense, okay? Really nice work today. I really enjoyed listening to you. You're very talented. Keep up the good work. Nice to meet you, Hazel.
Last week of all, we have Max today. Pompilio is going to work with Max. Max is a senior and he is also homeschooled and in addition to piano, does basketball and track.
Was okay? What part of it was okay? What do you think? What were the pros and cons?
I would say just like transitioning between like the different phrases, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of things going on, and it's in some ways repetitive, which makes it a challenge to go between structures. It's always the same. Have you played other rondos before?
I have.
I'm familiar with what a rondo is in a bit more technical terms.
This is my first one.
Okay, so one main thing to know about this piece, it's called a rondo because it means there is sections that keep coming back, right? And this is something that we'll encounter every time you play something like this, which is you have a section, and then you have it repeated 55 times, but also you have other things in the middle, and then your brain thinks, am I at this section or the other one, or and then you start panicking, and then it's hard to pull off, right? And I had the same troubles when I started playing these kind of things. So something that you need to really consider in your practice is getting used to transition between things. So maybe rather than playing the whole thing, it's very helpful to play the last 2 bars of a section and the first 2 bars of another one, while being very conscious about where you're in the piece and really making a mental map of the piece. So that's a very general approach to how to structure something like this and how to make it solid. What did you like about your bedroom? What were some strong points?
Strong points, I would say, maybe finishing the piece, and also like, I guess dynamics in a way.
Yeah, good things. Yes, absolutely. I thought this section was very strong. The one with the octaves at the beginning was nice. So that's good. Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you know about the fact that this piece is called Alla?
What do I know about it?
Yeah.
I know that it's like a smaller piece of a bigger like song.
Are you planning on working the whole song at some point?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so it's part of the sonata by Mozart, which has 2 previous movements, a slow one, a minuetto, and then this one. And what do you know about this specific indication? If you mind. It's okay if you don't mind, it's fine. I didn't know much about it until 1 year ago, so. Okay, so this means in a Turkish style, which is a kind of misleading indication nowadays, because this was written at the end of the 1700s, and now 200 years have passed, if my math is not completely wrong. So back then, Turkish style meant that it was basically influenced by Eastern Europe, whereas Mozart was living in the middle of Europe. So it was basically meant to resemble the way that military bands that were coming to Austria would sound like to an Austrian here, not Australia, that's a different place. So in practice, what does this mean? It means that it's using a lot of kind of loud, dance-like figures and a lot of drums and stuff, which I see that you have written here, cymbals and bass drum. That's exactly what's mimicking there. And some of the pianos at the time actually had a bass drum you could play the piano, and you would just go while you play that, so that's pretty cool. Okay, that being said, that's kind of an introduction to this. So basically this is a march, which means we don't have to play too fast for it to sound like a march, because you're not going to march too fast, right? Otherwise you're going to not have a lung anymore. So how about we try it a little more march-like, so a little bit more like you're stomping your feet and going a little slower than what you tried. Should we try that? Yeah. So let's take a tempo like this. Okay, let's go. Let's start that hands together. Can you just do that once, please? Can you make those last notes very non-important? So like bam, bam, as light as you can. Beautiful. And now can I just hear the right hand? So I feel like we can do something with your posture a little bit. Can you try sitting a little more forward keyboard on the bench, and then can you try dropping the keyboard? So, yes, exactly as if you're holding your arm from the keyboard. Yes. I feel like you maybe could sit a little lower because you're tall, but I don't like the bench goes more down. So let's see. Is it going down or up? Hold on. No, I think it's already down. That's fine. Let's try to work with this. So basically, try to think that your arm weight is being held up by the keyboard. So you're gonna lay there, and just like that. Yes. And now, for the beginning, can we try to feel like you're playing all the notes rather than being, I have to play 4 notes up, which is not what you sound like. I'm not trying to tease you. I'm just trying to say that's kind of our brain thinks when we have something difficult. So let's try to think first slowly that you're gonna play 4 notes and you're gonna transfer between all of them before we go to the last one. And our goal is the last one. So can you just play that slowly? Can you do them very loud for me once? Good. Now let's keep the last one loud and let's go light between the first 4. Okay, now let's make it more smooth. Okay, now without the last accent, and it should be really good. That's good. Now let's try this tempo that you just did, without the accent. Ti-da-da-da-dum, ti-da-da-da-dee. Turn the light left hand. Yes. Don't get very loud here now. So same feelings that you just found here of like connecting all the notes. Same thing here. So you have to think that you're playing all of the notes and you're not leaving any one behind. Okay. So you have to be. It's an art, right? You're going all together. You're not leaving the piccolo player behind. Yes. May I suggest using the same fingers that you were using here for this top one, so that it makes it a little easier. So you were using 4, 3, 2, 1, and up here you were using 4, 3, 2, 3. What about if you use 4, 3, 2, 1, and then loop it around? And you don't need to connect them. It doesn't have any legato markings on it. Okay. So I would suggest not having to connect them. So think of them as 2 individual gestures. Okay. So that your brain is not overwhelming those. So and then so in context it's always remember to be in the keys for all notes though. This is not something you can like get much better at right now, but you can definitely think about it in your practice of not leaving anything out. Okay? Okay, good. That's some good tips for the beginning, and I wouldn't go much faster than what you can do this at, even because I'm, as we said, March, so not too fast. Then you can eventually push the tempo a little bit, but that's also going to help you with structuring all the pieces together without getting lost in the midst of the million notes. Okay? Yeah. Okay, can I hear this section again, which I really liked? Concerned about it or not, I would say that, if that's what's worrying you. Let's try to think about it as if you're playing the octaves that you're playing in the other part, because those are very soft. So try to think of them as if you're playing those, but you're just going, so like, physically almost rolling them. They will eventually become a little more even, but it's fine for now. And also focus on looking at your thumb rather than the top, and look at your thumb and just place there, your pinky will fall, hopefully. Something on this piano. Let's try to make it a little more drum-like. I will go back to the other section, which is maybe a little easier to experiment on. So what if we go? What if we go like all out on it? Like you're in the stadium and you're like, you gotta cheer the team on, etc. Not as much maybe as what I did right now, because then it becomes a little ugly the sound. So we'll try something in between. So the left hand music really wants to be a rolled drum. And it doesn't have to be too pretty. It kind of has to be a little ugly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, good. Now let's talk about 16th notes. How do you feel about those?
They're just really fast.
Yes. So does lower.
Yeah, okay.
So we had T da 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 D. Can you try this at this tempo, this section? T da 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 D.
Wait, you said this one?
Either one or this one, whatever you prefer. From here, just check a couple of things. Okay, so one thing, these always need to be
Quiet.
quieter. No, otherwise it makes it also harder for you to hear, right? And you need to hear all the notes here. So what I would suggest doing is a bit like we did here in short, I would do it here much bigger. So a couple of things you can do on this section is practicing it slowly, making sure you go through all of the notes in your ear. So you go, that's bigger. And what I'm doing is really being conscious about walking from one note to the other, right? So as if you're doing this, but you're doing it with your correct feeling. So, and I'm also trying to sing them all in one way. Da, 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 da. I use Italian notes, so I go da, re, la, si, la, sol, fa, la, sol, fa. So you can use whatever works for you. Okay. And then the next step that you can do is maybe you can do some rhythms. Have you ever done those on those things? Some rhythm practice, like going, for example. Can you try to show me how you would do that? Yes, it's great if you're trying to be piano because we have a good contrast, but I feel like you're just being a little too cautious with it, and I feel like it's becoming a little too weak.
Okay.
So maybe you can try to be a little more in the key, which doesn't mean you have to play for that, but you can be a little more in it. Yes, that's a better way to practice this, because then once you put it in tempo, it's probably going to be more secure.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense? Good. Let's see. We have a whole 60 seconds left. Is there any questions you have on this that I could help you with? Do the things I've been saying make kind of sense?
Yeah,
It's okay if they don't.
That makes sense.
You can also say, this is stupid ideas. I'm not going to
No, maybe just like the left
Oh,
side.
yes, good. Yes, can you play just a couple of those? Just the left one. Okay. Let's use less fingers, a little more wrist.
Okay.
So instead of going, right now you're trying to play everything with your fingers, let's try to use a little bit of your wrist. And see what it's doing there? It's basically rotating a little bit going from one note to the other. So can we try to Yeah. Can you try a bit more of that? Just the left hand? And once more, the feeling has to be that you're walking between them and you're transferring everything between the keys so that you don't have, so that you can risk having these. Right? Which not if you're doing, again, I'm exaggerating for the purpose of that. But if you start instead of thinking, you put something in, and then that's what you put down, and it's going to be light and transfer to the other notes. And that's what you always have, and that's you're just transferring between the notes, rotating a little bit in there. Okay. Can you just try it one more? I like that. And then you can also do the drills that we did for right hand for this one.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Good. There is one very short thing I want to tell you left, which is what I've been thinking about dynamics, which is I love the contrasts and everything. There is one spot I would like you to emphasize more, which is, I cannot find it anymore. One thing is that I would like this section to be much more, is boisterous a correct word and pronunciation? Like very loud, and it's the end and it's the final, I don't know, it's like the final dance in the movie and everyone's like, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it has to be much more than the times before, in my opinion. Of course, it doesn't have to agree, but that's my opinion. And then there is the other part, which is somewhere that I cannot find now. This one. This chord here, I think it's very special compared to what the other one we had before. So I think you can emphasize it also could be okay, that's most of the things I have to say.
Okay, yeah.
So I hope you have some ideas on how to practice this.
Yes,
And
thank you. Yeah.
also remember to breathe within the section when you're playing this, because I feel like you've got little pens and just take your time.
Yeah.
You have sections, so you can just pick up right and then keep right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, thank you.